Hey, this is just a quick video to make sure you have everything you need to get started with the course. Obviously, the first thing being a computer which is capable of running Ableton Live 10 or 11, depending on when you're watching this and what version you have. Assuming you've bought the computer in the last 5 or 6 years, you should be fine. So the next thing I recommend getting, and it depends how seriously you want to take this, whether it's a hobby to you or you want to take it to the next step and make a career out of music, then that's going to decipher how much money and time you invest into this. But the next thing I recommend is either a pair of studio monitors or headphones. So they don't have to be top of the line. Most headphones over the $100 to $150 mark, they're going to be pretty decent. Whereas the studio monitors, and when I say studio monitors, I'm talking about speakers, those are going to be a little higher. So obviously it depends on the size that you want to get and the brand and the quality, but they can range anywhere from a couple hundred to in the thousands. Just something for you to keep in mind as you're progressing through this. And if you do get a decent set of speakers, you're probably going to need an audio interface as well to power them properly. So again, with audio interfaces, there are many out there and they can range anywhere from the $100 mark right up to the thousands. So if you are looking to invest a little more time and money into this, those are the things that I suggest you get next. But if you want a smaller step up and you still want to be able to hear all the sounds nicely, even just a set of half decent headphones will get you a long way. And with those, I recommend something with a pretty flat response curve, so a neutral response curve. So when you're looking at headphones to buy, something that's recommended for studio or monitoring as opposed to something like Beats by Dre. Nothing wrong with the Beats by Dre, but they do have their own coloring, so they add a little more bass and they dip in the mids just to make it sound more pleasant on the ears. Whereas for music production, you want something quite flat so that the frequencies are all accurately represented. And after you've sorted that out, you obviously will need a copy of Ableton Live. If you aren't looking to buy Ableton Live just yet, that's completely fine. If you head over to the Ableton website, I'll bring it up here. They have a free live trial, which you can use for 90 days. So that gives you 3 months worth of the suite, which is the highest level of Ableton Live, and it gives you all the sounds. And what you can do is just download the trial while you're doing this course. You will obviously, because it's 90 days, you'll finish the course within the time that the trial ends. And then once you get to the end, you'll know whether you want to pursue music or not. And yeah, hopefully you do choose to pursue it, because I want to see people from this course go and do big things. Once you get Ableton installed, whether it be Mac or Windows, you'll see something like this, and it should all be open perfectly fine. You will have to go into the preferences and set up your audio, depending on whether you're using an audio interface or not. So if you need information on that, there is information on the Ableton site. So throughout this course, there'll be a number of exercises that we'll be going through together. Where you can get those files, if I do mention in the video that there's an exercise, is to click on the current video that you're watching. And then below the video, you should see download and a project.zip. So if I mention that there's an exercise, just look down here and make sure you download the files and that you open them and they all came through properly. They are compressed, so once you download them like this, and then depending on what browser you're on, it'll ask you whether you want to allow it, so you just allow downloads. So when you do download the file, make sure you don't try and access the project through here. Just be sure to uncompress it and unzip it, so it looks like this, and then use this to follow through with the exercise. So you can either open this inside of Ableton, or if you don't have Ableton open, you can just double click and it will open up Ableton for you with this project. That's all I wanted to cover in this video. It's just to clear up all those things before we actually get started on the course. So hopefully you have everything you need now. You should be completely ready to start your journey. And I'll catch you for the first video on week 1, and we'll get started on this course.